Mr. Scarlett, thank you for being here.
Oh, the pleasure is mine. Thank you for inviting me.
How is North Korea deploying soldiers in Russia?
What it seems that is happening, and this has been confirmed by the U.S. Secretary of Defense, by Secretary Lloyd Austin, about 12,000 North Korean troops have been dispatched to Russia. We're not sure whether they're on the front lines yet. It appears that these are four brigades of light infantry subordinate to the 11th Corps. Basically, light infantry brigades in North Korea are special forces, special operation forces. You have seen experts, pundits referring to them as cannon fodder. Kim Jong-un is not sending cannon fodder to Russia. He's sending his best troops. He's sending special operations forces.
Why is North Korea deploying these soldiers to Russia?
For a very simple reason: money. This is a money-making operation. In addition to money, most likely energy, of course, oil imports. Remember, North Korea is under UN sanctions aimed to do away with the production and proliferation of nuclear weapons and ballistic missiles. Because of Russia and China, the sanctions regime is failing. Remember, there was a UN panel of experts in charge of monitoring implementation of sanctions. It was dismantled earlier this year because of a Russian veto. Again, objective number one is to make money, then perhaps some humanitarian supply, some oil, and most importantly, perhaps Russian assistance with North Korea's ballistic missile program.
Is this a way for North Korea to try to become more powerful against other countries, especially the Western ones?
The main objective of Kim Jong-un is not necessarily to train his troops in combat against NATO-backed Ukraine. Of course, that will benefit the North Korean military as well. But again, the lessons learned have to be incorporated into training. Training is perishable. They'll have to find ways to pass that on. And remember, the North Koreans have been in foreign theaters. The scale of what's happening right now, the growing scale and the escalation that's happening right now, I would say is quite unprecedented. And we see the largest exports of ammunition and weaponry for profit in the history of the DPRK.
What does these deployments mean for the war?
This is, a highly militaristic, totalitarian regime that doesn't have a very good sense of humor. They're very keen on making big bucks out of the exportation of material, lethal equipment, weapons, soldiers, special operations soldiers to the Ukrainian front. They're dead serious about it. They'll continue to do it. And the threat posed by North Korea to regional and now international peace and security is on the rise. This threat is increasing. That's not an exaggeration. They're surely part of that axis of tyranny that we talk about: Iran, Russia, China. And they have chosen to become the arsenal of tyranny for two of the most aggressive members of this axis of tyranny: Iran and Russia.
What is your opinion on this situation?
My opinion is that this is a grave escalation of the situation. During COVID and after COVID, we have developed multiple transatlantic bridges. We talked to a lot of members of the European Parliament. Some of them have been reelected. We're getting to know new members of the European Parliament as well. I talk a lot to European diplomatic missions in Washington. The European Union is very worried. We've been talking about North Korean human rights violations, crimes against humanity, nuclear weapons, ballistic missiles, provocations against South Korea. Now, the North Korean threat, the North Korean exportation of instability and violence has arrived on Europe's doorstep. this exportation of instability and violence is threatening our one and only ally in the Middle East, the state of Israel, and destabilizing the region.
What do you think is going to happen?
In my view, they're going to escalate. They're going to send more troops, perhaps up to about 50,000, about half of the 11th Corps. It also depends on the role that will be assigned to the North Koreans. They'll blend in, they'll adapt, they'll find ways to use them. Again, these are highly disciplined, highly indoctrinated, well-fed, well-equipped, very well-trained troops. I see that the Ukrainians are already engaging in psychological operations, trying to persuade the North Koreans to desert. I wouldn't be surprised if South Korea deployed, military intelligence, interpreters, interrogators, just in case they have POWs to Ukraine. Of course, not South Korean troops. That's not going to happen because of the nature of South Korean politics and South Korean civil society. This is a true democracy. There would be a lot of pushback.
That's it, Mr. Scarlett. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Rodrigo.